Hello and welcome to the Clock and Talk, an Arsenal podcast. I'm your host, Tez. You can get me at Gooner Tez, and Addy's back with us. And you can get the show at The Clock and Talk. I'm going to pop a few boys on the line as they come in. Tony, how are you, buddy? Good to have you back.
Yeah, I'm good. You guys are snakes. I arrange for 11 o'clock, arrange it all, then I get a message at 10:55, going live, join when you can. Absolute snake.
I said to Addy, I said, it's at 11 p.m. Tony organised this shit, not me. So I'm like,
I don't believe a word. I don't believe a word of what you're saying.
Those of you out there, you can see my face and you can see the background, and that's just a city where someone listens from. So if you can pick that city, then I got no prizes for you. Addy, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing well. Can you hear me?
Can hear you loud and clear, buddy.
Oh yeah, no, I'm doing well. Hope everyone's
doing well. That's good. That's good. And Jack, how are you, brother?
I am good. It's good to be back. Thought I'd pop in, thought a bit of a chat about obviously what was quite an eventful Monday night.
Yeah, and Addy's just dropped out, so we will talk about that because that's what we're here for, to talk about that. 2-2 Crystal Palace. Tony, I'm going to go to you because I wasn't really active in the chat with the boys, and I know you were at the game and stuff. But what was the lineup? Everything was as predicted. Everyone thought like this is what's happening.
Well, there's only really one decision to make with our lineup at the moment, and that's if it's a three in midfield with Partey, Smith Rowe, and Odegaard, or if you go Smith Rowe left, Saka right, and then play a Sambi or an Elneny or an Ainsley, basically a midfielder alongside Partey. That's the only decision that basically needs to be made at the moment. I don't like, and I said this before, I think I said it after the Burnley game, I said it after the Brighton game, I don't like that midfield three of Odegaard, Smith Rowe and Partey. I don't think it works at all. I don't think any of them really know what they're doing. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say when the lineup come out I was distraught and couldn't believe it and whatnot. I wasn't at all surprised, but I just don't like that. I don't think it's ever worked. In the 3 games we've played, obviously we're going to get onto yesterday, but the performance was the performance. The Burnley game we were pretty crap, didn't really make many chances, scored a free kick, and then the Brighton game we didn't score, didn't really make any chances. So yeah, I don't think that midfield works in any way. Like there's no aspect of it. I go, oh yeah, it's quite good in that way. I think it's shit in all ways. So as I said, I wasn't pulling my hair out. Not that I've got much left when I was in the pub and the lineup come out, but yeah, I'm just not a fan of it. It's what I expect, to be fair. Most games I expect that lineup, but I don't like it.
And look, I'm going to stick with you for 2 seconds because you have said you didn't like the midfields. Obviously, Granit is a massive miss. How important is Granit actually to that midfield?
It's very hard to say because the one good game we've basically played with that team, the only difference was that Granit was in it. So it kind of makes you go, oh, he was the difference, or it could make you go like that. Yeah, I'm not sure he was. I mean, I'm not sure he was, and I'm not really sure what the answer is because I don't think Sambi and Partey can play together. I know we're only going on a very short sample. Obviously, none of us really want to see Elneny. Is Ainsley up to the job? I'm not sure. Probably not. I mean, I like Ainsley, so my bias is probably why I'm saying probably not. If I didn't like him, I'd probably be saying definitely not. So it's difficult. I don't think we really have a solution in there without Granit, and I'm not saying Granit makes us a million times better, but if Granit was fit, you would know that if Granit was fit, you could basically name our 11. Without that, you can't, and it's like, oh, what way are we going to go? Are we going to change formation, go 4-3-3 instead of 4-2-3-1? Like, there's just so many questions that he would answer, and I'm not saying because of his performance, but just you would know the structure and what's happening.
Look, I like you. I didn't really care when the lineup come out. I was like, oh yeah, sweet. And like I said, I think it was about 6 a.m. in the morning for me. One big thing I come out of is no Zaha for Crystal Palace. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, this is actually going to be good. No Zaha, because we all know how dangerous he is. So, but anyway, the game, it didn't go to what I actually predicted. So I was thinking a 3-1, 3-0 kind of result. But Jack, your thoughts on lineup and things, mate?
Yeah, to be fair, I thought it was as expected. I think that, I mean, obviously, other than the Zaha, Zaha not being the Palace side, I mean, our team was obviously clear as daylight. But for them, I think what kind of jumped out to me was that, well, look, they're not playing Zaha for the pace, but then again, someone like an Edouard, or to be fair, anyone of their front three, they're so physical and they're very nimble and agile as well at the same time. And them against players like Tomiyasu did worry me from the outlook, but I don't really think they caused that much problems. I mean, I understand that they outplayed us, as we'll probably get onto in some areas of the game, but I feel that their goals came from defensive errors more than any like actual kind of man v man sort of formation-esque tactical issues, if that makes sense.
Yep.
But it was a weird one, but we'll obviously go into that shortly. But yeah, that was the only kind of thing that jumped out to me when the lineups came out.
Addy is back. This is so fucking bizarre. Like, you boys, like 11 p.m. at night. Here, I got one bloke coming back from football training. I got another bloke coming back from the gym. Like, is it just tradition that you can't train in the fucking dark and do your gym work in the dark? Like, what's going on?
It's autumn in the UK, like autumn winter sort of season. And for those who know autumn winter in the UK, it gets darker like fucking 5 o'clock. It feels like it's always nighttime here.
Fair enough. Addy, give us your thoughts on the lineup, buddy.
Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, gotcha, mate. Yep.
Perfect. For me, I think it was like the most attacking lineup we could have played. I think Arteta was just gonna continue with what we did. I think the game before, I don't think Pepe started the game before, but I think his introduction was okay. So yeah, I had no problems with it, to be honest.
Yeah, look, I was, exactly. One thing I also do notice is when Aubameyang feels pumped first up, you think to yourself, shit, he's in for a good game. And that even first 20 minutes for me, I was like, this guy is pumped up for this game. And Tony, you were at the ground?
Yep.
What was the atmosphere like around, obviously Aubameyang? And also when the Crystal Palace players come out and the manager, turning back up to the Emirates is massive. So I seen a little applaud on the TV and I was like, wow, this is awesome. So that was what we were seeing on TV. Was that what was happening in the ground?
Yeah, I mean, I've said on here a few times, the atmosphere this season's been good at pretty much every game. So yeah, the atmosphere is good. Vieira was always going to get his song and his round of applause. I mean, could have told you that a month ago.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say there was anything like Aubameyang specific. Obviously, scoring 7 minutes in or whatever is always going to help your cause. But just in general, the atmosphere has gone up a notch this season. And I was actually surprised how busy it was, because like going back, like it was basically sold out. There was a few empty seats, but not like big pockets. It was just like people that hadn't turned up. And it was weird, like going back a few weeks ago, Chelsea was on general sale. I think Norwich was on general sale. And all of a sudden on a Monday night, when people traditionally find it hard to travel or it'd be a late night because they've got work or school the next day. So your crowds are usually lower in midweek. And I was just surprised how full it was. I actually said to one of my mates about 10 minutes in, I was like, what's happened where people actually now want to watch us?
7 minutes, 8 minutes in, you could say, Aubameyang gets the goal. Jack, I'll go to you, buddy. Talk us through that goal.
He's gone in, eh?
Oh, has he? I didn't even see. He's fucking legged it. Jack has left the building. Okay, Tony, continue with you, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, we started off Brighton on the front foot and looked like a football team for a bit. But ironically, the goal came from a massively overhit corner. Nice bit of football, actually. Nice little 1-2. I don't think Pepe's shot was going in, to be fair, but it was a hell of an effort from that angle. And the keeper can't leave that. So even if it is going in or it's not, the keeper can't. It is so close that the keeper can't drop his hands and let it go. Obviously, his save wasn't the best, and do you know that finish? Aubameyang's going to get no credit for that. I mean, I've not listened to the pundits and whatnot, so I assume he didn't get a load of credit. But it's not an easy finish. He's running at it. It's a tight angle.
Yep. I agree.
It's not an easy finish at all. So he's done well to score, and it's one of them you get no credit for scoring, but absolutely hammered if you miss it. But yeah, I mean, as I said, it's a nice bit of football. Good effort from Pepe, and really sharp from Aubameyang. But as I said, he's looked bright basically all season since he obviously missed a couple of games, and then he came on a sub against Chelsea, which was our second game. Didn't look good against Man City, but no one did. But since then, in every game, he's looked bright. Yes, he's missed chances. I'm not saying he's played well, but he's looked bright and looked sharp. So it didn't really come as much of a surprise. I think he's also scored. I read it before the game yesterday, and I know it's only been 2 games, but it's 3 now. He scored in every home start this season, and obviously he only played 10-15 minutes against Chelsea. So, I mean, it shouldn't be a surprise.
Yeah. Addy, I'll go to you for the that first half. It was, I don't know. It was. I'm just going to get your thoughts on the first half, Addy. Where are you thinking? Because maybe I'm wrong. I haven't really spoke to you lads. I haven't spoke to many of the boys in the chat. I didn't really even read many of the comments. So my opinions are could be way off compared to everyone else.
That first half, just touching on the goal, I do feel I think Pepe's shot was close. It definitely would. I think it would have hit the post. So I don't know whether inside, but it was definitely had enough curl to. And as you said, Tony, the keeper had to make a save. He couldn't just leave that. It was too tight to even try and leave. And no, Aubameyang definitely got praise because it was a very tight angle. It reminded me of it was different to the Man City finish in the FA Cup against Man City, but the finish, it was from that tight angle. It was a great finish, and it was great composure to actually get in there and follow the ball, because some strikers would have stayed thinking, the goalkeeper's going to push it out, but it was good of Aubameyang to actually keep moving and to be in the right place at the right time, and that's what you want from any good striker. But as you said, Tezzy, he's definitely up for it, and he started the game up for it, and you can see it.
So that's sure.
I think that first 20-25 minutes we looked good. I think there were opportunities where we could have gotten the second, which would have changed the whole game completely. I think there was 1 or 2 occasions where Smith Rowe could have played in Pepe when we won the ball high, and I think there was one where he shot, and yeah, I think he should have played in Pepe. And that one, but he went for the shot. But we started off well, but then with me, obviously, as much as the attacking side was looking good, and we were questioning that Crystal Palace defense and midfield, I always keep an eye out on the defensive side, and I think it was 2 corners. Or definitely 2 counterattacks from Crystal Palace that gave me concern. We stopped it, but there were times where if they made the right decisions, they would have been through on goal, and that gave me a cause for concern in the sense that, hey guys, just obviously we're on top, but let's make sure we're still solid defensively. But then as the first half got to the end, it just our dominance over that we had at the start of the game started to wane, and obviously we started to let Crystal Palace get a foothold, and then obviously they're gonna come into the game, but yeah, it's like our levels dropped again, whereas you still wanted that. For example, Tottenham, that whole first half for Tottenham was just electric, and we were just totally on them all half. We just didn't have that same energy about us to see us through
We
the whole
we
half.
come out the we come out the first 20 minutes, and I thought, oh, here we go. Aubameyang's got the goal, and here we go. And then it just kind of went down like a lead balloon, and there was just no. I don't know. I can't put me. I for the life of me, I can't put my finger on it, right? And the only thing I can think, and Tony, you may have your thoughts because you're at the ground, so it's totally different to what we're seeing on TV. But I'm thinking myself, a young team, they've come out fire and ready to go, and then there was just a massive period in the game, probably from just after the 25-minute mark to even after half time, that there was no energy in the team. There was just felt like nothing.
I mean, for me, it was pretty simple. We had no midfield, and the defenders were scared to press because there was no midfield. So they just started dropping deeper and deeper, letting Palace players turn. There was no pressure on the ball because we had no midfield. And we just got pushed further and further back against Palace. I mean, you look at their players. Edouard is not that active. His movement's not great. And he played from the left and he drifted in. We actually struggled because he didn't play wide. And you could tell we'd clearly prepared, especially in the first half, we'd clearly prepared for Zaha. And Tommy was staying wide, expecting to be one-on-one. And half the time he had nothing to do. So we struggled a bit with that. But you've got Edouard, who's not like a pacey going to burn you in behind. Benteke can't run. And I use half quick, but not electric. So really, you should be defending really high up against them. But because we had absolutely no pressure on the ball at any time, we just dropped deeper and deeper and deeper. And it's actually what caused both the goals. But even before that, I mean, there was one, I think the shot got blocked, but Benteke literally, it was like playing against Lukaku again in the Chelsea game. The ball got rolled into Benteke's feet too easy. There was no screen in front of him, no pressure on the ball. And he literally just turned around. It wasn't like he was on the edge of our area, maybe just inside it. But it wasn't like he'd done a sharp little turn. He literally just turned around and then shot. And as I said, I can't remember if it was blocked or it was a comfortable save for Ramsdale or it went wide. I can't remember what happened. But the writing was on the wall or the signs were there, whatever you want to say, from then. And it just continued and continued and continued. And it didn't ever stop. Literally, if we were playing now, we would still be making that same mistake, I think.
Half time came in. Saka went off just after half time, and
hold on.
Yeah.
You have to touch on that. Yeah, you have to touch on that. Saka
Take it away, Addy.
Like, I don't know what Mike Dean saw, and this is again the thing where VAR sticks with what the on-field referee like. I think that he may have seen it a different way, but then I think if you all my like Tottenham friends and Chelsea friends and to be fair, other football fans, they were like my guy's been assaulted. So even from a refereeing point of view, they should have seen that and said, okay, Mike, you may have called it one way, but have another look at it just in case you didn't get that. And that's again my issue with VAR last season as well. They should have said, have another look on so many occasions. And this was another occasion where they should have said, have another look. Like, if you want to stick by a decision after that, then cool. But I don't know why, because again, a lot of people have said it. If it was Granit Xhaka that did that, that's a red card. That's 100% a red card. It was assault. It wasn't like the ball. He was going for the ball, or like, he literally just took him out. Like I was
trying to find something to get it up on the screen, but I can't. And yeah, look, I you know what? I'm probably like every other fan out there, except Tony, because he's just a bit of a freak at shit like this. I'm so confused on the fucking what is VAR's job. Like, I'm listening to what you're saying there, that could have went up the VAR. Have another look, buddy, because I don't think you got this right. Just double check it. I agree totally. For me, it's common sense. run over to the TV screen or something. But because it's not a goal or because it's not leading to a goal or anything like that, I don't understand the rules. Go on, Tony.
Well, no, VAR can and should have and probably did check that. It didn't flash up in the ground, so I don't know if they did. But there was a long gap, obviously, while he was down injured. So I assume they did. It's the big problem with VAR, I think, pretty much everywhere, but especially in this country, that they always, like, them telling them to go to the monitor is like saying you're wrong, go and check just to confirm you're wrong and change your decision. But it shouldn't be like that. It should be maybe you need to see it from another angle. Not saying you're wrong, but go and look to see what you'd have given if you'd seen it like this. Because at the moment, we know that as soon as the ref goes to the monitor, the decision's been changed. It's actually a waste of everyone's time. Because if you remember in the first year in England, they didn't have the monitor and the people just changed it without the ref seeing it. And then they changed that because the fans moaned, but they haven't really changed it. Now all that happens is the ref jogs over, pretends to look, and then changes his decision. So it's basically been told. But we need to get away from that, and it needs to be, obviously you don't want it to happen a million times a game, but it needs to be, look, you're not necessarily wrong, but what if you would have seen it like this? Would you have still given a yellow card? And if so, okay, that's your decision and you live by that.
Yeah.
But I think that they're so scared, the VARs are so scared to tell them to, at the moment with the way the rules are, to go over, because it's basically condemning them. And I've always said this, that VARs shouldn't be referees and they shouldn't be their colleagues, because the refs go away on training day. So I don't know who the VAR was yesterday, but that could be Mike Dean's best mate who doesn't want him to look stupid or doesn't want him to make him look wrong. Like, they're going to be on a piss up together in a few weeks. Like in the international break, the refs will have some form of getaway, some form of training course. So it shouldn't be his mates making the decision. It should be a completely independent guy. They don't know. Like, obviously, you can know his name. Not that you shouldn't. It shouldn't really matter if you know his name, but they shouldn't know the refs. So it's not like, oh, Mike and his wife, whatever. It should be, there's a ref who made this decision. You guide him on it. As I said, tell him if it's a go and look at it because for whatever reason. And I've always said that, and I don't understand why it doesn't exist. I mean, for me, it's so clear. It's so obviously a red card. I can't believe people have tried to defend it. Not many, but I've seen some people go, his eyes are on the ball. I mean, there's two things. Well, there's a few things. One, the ball is cleared way before it drops anywhere near the level he's volleyed through. Two, if you look at like the direction of his foot, it wasn't like he was trying to volley the ball on goal. It was like he was trying to boot it away. So then what are you doing? Three, the whistle had long gone. Like, if that happens in the open play, it's still bad. But the whistle had already gone for something else. So you're like, it's just a red card. It's so clearly a red card. Like, it shouldn't need.
But I'm gonna look. I'm not gonna defend. I'm
gonna slightly defend Mike Dean. That at the time in the ground, I didn't like overly see it, and because the whistle had already gone, you kind of switch off. But that's exactly what VAR's there for. And to be honest, because we didn't really see it, MacArthur fouled Smith Rowe about 10 seconds before that and should have got, not 10 seconds, about a minute before that on a counter-attack. And he should have got booked for that. And we half thought, has he not really done much? But you know how refs do. If they don't book him for something, they'll find the next thing he does. Next time he breathes, he's getting booked. So in a slight defense of Mike Dean, I'm going to say we didn't see it clearly, but that's what VAR's there for. And that's where if VAR could just say, I'm not saying you're wrong, but I think you need to see another angle, then it would work. The issue at the moment is VAR has to basically say to him, you are wrong. And they just don't want to do that.
Yeah, look, and I'm not by any means defending, and I agree with what you said. But my biggest thing is, and because a lot of people are going, oh, Arsenal fans complain it again, rah, rah, rah. My thing is consistency. And as you said, like, you know, Addy mentioned, granted, if that was granted, it would have been a red card. If it was against us, probably would have been a red card. No, probably. And that's the thing. There's no consistency amongst these referees. So that's why I'm confused.
It's difficult. It's difficult with that one, though, because there's no, like, comparable? Like, you can't go, someone else didn't get
compare it with something. Yeah.
Like, there's nothing there. But one thing Addy said, and I completely agree with it, like, people saying it's an assault. Like, when I played football, I've been on the end of bad tackles, but, you know, sometimes there's a bit of anger in them. Sometimes they're just mistimed. If someone does that to me on the pitch, unless I'm injured, I'm getting sent off because I am fighting them. Like, that, it's ridiculous. It's not a tackle. Like, do you know what I mean? It is actually an assault. as I said, you've been on the end of bad tackles, and they can just be mistimed, and you might be in a bit of pain, but you kind of get up and go, you know what, I kind of see what he was trying to do. It hasn't worked. And I've been on the end of malicious tackles when you're pissed off because you know the guy's just trying to do you. But and that was very much in the second bracket.
Yeah. No, I agree with everyone. I can't. I'm actually glad you guys did. I'm glad you thought that, because I have seen a lot of people on social media trying to defend Mike Dean, and I'm like, how can you? And I don't want to come across as a massive whinger. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I would say I've seen like 90-10, as in 90% saying like it's the biggest red card ever, and 10% trying to make some defence, which is rare, because anything with Arsenal, you're usually going to get a load of other fans that just go against it regardless, and they haven't really. As I said, you've got 10% doing that, where usually it's at least 30.
There's a couple of lads listening. Let us know your thoughts in the comments around that. Is Mike Dean a cunt? I think we've got plenty of questions around that on Twitter as well. So yeah, drop anything in the comments there. Addy, you got any more on that, or we continue on, brother?
Yeah, no, let's continue on.
Continue on. Tony, you touched on MacArthur with the yellow. Just quickly, yeah. So Sambi came on. Obviously not a substitution that was meant to kind of take place. Do you reckon Sambi would have got a game at all? Like, he was coming on, but I wonder, you know, like, it probably wouldn't have happened that way. So that kind of threw Arteta's plans out the window a bit.
Well, I don't know. Obviously, that change wouldn't have been made, but what was difficult is that, as I said, we had no midfield. So I wouldn't have been surprised if it happened at some point. It didn't actually help. It should have done. But it didn't. It actually probably hindered us, which is weird, because I think, in a way, he done the right thing. Because when you look at that, you think, could he have done it? Could he have got Lacazette on at that point? And, like, as I said, hindsight's beautiful. But at the time, you're thinking, yeah, he's done the right thing. We've been getting overrun in midfield. We've got no midfield, not even getting overrun. We just don't have one. So get an extra body in there. Move Smith Rowe left, where I maintain he's better. Get Odegaard at 10, where he's somewhat more used than he is in midfield, very slightly. But it didn't work out like that. But I'm not gonna knock Arteta for it, because I think, as I said at the time, he done the right thing.
Yep. Where are we up to? Lacazette then came on, Addy, for Odegaard.
Was that
seen?
What was the score? No, he didn't come on at 1-0, did he? He can't have done.
No, sorry. 1-0. Sorry, yeah, just before Benteke, he scored the goal, leveling at 1-1. Tony, where are we at with that, buddy?
My biggest annoyance with the whole game, and look, it's easy to say, it was Partey that lost the ball in the middle, wasn't it? So it's easy to go on that. But so just on that instance, obviously Partey's lost the ball, it's really bad. But my thing from the whole game, and that our whole defence were doing it, all of the back four, they were backing off and backing off and backing off and backing. Like, the thing is, if Benteke wouldn't have shot, I think our defenders would have carried on backing off, and they'd have been in the goal. I think if Benteke would have carried on running, he could have just ran the ball into the goal. But it wasn't just that occasion. Like, that's the one. Well, and the second goal come from the same thing. But I don't know what it was. Our whole game, all four defenders, and especially I was more surprised at Gabriel, because he's usually like quite rash and front foot. But all four of them were just backing off. Like, I was at the other end to that goal, and at first we thought, he must have hit it from quite far out and sort of caught him by surprise. And then I've looked up at the big screen. He's in the fucking area, and our defenders are still backing off. I don't understand it. At least if you meet him outside the area, if you foul him, then it's a free kick. Now he's in the area, so you can shoot, like, more chance of scoring from a shot. And if you foul him, it's a penalty. Our fullbacks have done it for years, and I never understood it. But yesterday, our whole back four was doing it from basically about 10 minutes after we scored until the end of the game. And, like, I mean, yeah, look, Partey is obviously at fault, but our whole defence as a unit, I have no fucking clue what they were doing.
It was probably the worst defending effort I've seen from us this season, definitely. But it almost took me back to Mustafi days and things like that. It was just, I like Ben White, and I think he's going to be.
Sorry. Benjamin White, not Ben White. Benjamin
White. I like him, but he's young. and I am concerned we're going to have things like this. We're going to have these games out of him. I'm not
Well,
blaming him.
there was the
solely,
reason
but-
I didn't single him out is because they were all fucking at it the whole game.
Yeah, I know.
Like-
yeah.
So I'm not saying he was good, but
Yeah.
it seems like it must have been. It can't have been an instruction because it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But it feels like it must have been when you've got 4 idiots doing it consistently and not changing. It was like, and the other thing, I mean, we were going to get onto it, so I'll just go a bit now. KT has just stopped overlapping. Like, he's just given up. And when Gabby come on, he was telling him to overlap, and they just didn't. Like, and you feel like like KT, that's what you're good at. So there's so many things where you're like, are the players spastics, or are the instructions like ridiculous?
Yeah.
And then none of them are questioning it. Like, as I said, I would actually love for a joke to see what would happen if Benteke carried on running. Like, at what point would have they stopped backing off?
Yeah, and you
It'd have been
make a good
fucking
point. You make a great point, and you know, and the only reason I look, and I've got written here in my notes, Ben White or Benjamin White. You know, I'm like, fuck, like, what the fuck? Like, there was one point here that I've got written down that, you know, that there was, I haven't got the exact minute, but there was a massive, we were struggling for possession at one point of the game, and he just kicks the fuck out of it, up the guts to someone, and it was just a total waste ball. I'm thinking to myself, and then the cameras at that time went to Arteta, who was just, he was like fucking steam coming out of his ears.
Let's be fair then. If we're gonna go at him for that, and obviously I don't really remember what you're talking about.
Yeah,
we've got a question that Tomiyasu just boots the fuck out of the ball every time he gets it. Like, we've got to be fair.
He was,
like,
he was.
How he's doing.
Yeah,
but,
he was in my hit list today. he was
like,
there. I agree.
Yeah.
He just kicks it long.
Yeah, just kicks it longs and hopes for the fucking best.
So obviously, just on Tomiyasu, obviously I've been reading and quite a lot of things, obviously on Twitter and all that stuff. Obviously all reactions, but then obviously one of the common things I keep seeing is that we're playing a CB at right back, or a right CB at right back. That right back is not his comfortable or his main position. Obviously, when we're signing him, I'm thinking, okay, cool, he's a right back. Obviously, I've seen that like crossing issues and all that stuff, but something we can work on and everything like that. But yeah, I think his energy in the first few games was good, but then I think now, obviously, coming into the Premier League and feeling the pace of the Premier League, is it getting to him? I don't know yet. And the intensity and the different type of wingers you're going to be playing every week, is that going to get to him?
Just let me cut in quickly. In hindsight, obviously, and I wasn't saying this at the start of the game, I think Tomiyasu is an excellent one-on-one defender, and I actually think we would have been better if Zaha played.
Yeah.
As I said, I didn't think this at the time. Of course, at the start of the game, I wasn't going. I was celebrating Zaha being out, but I think with the way Tommy plays, like, just give him a man, that's your job, and then if they put the ball in aerially, he's very good in the air. So if the ball goes into Benteke and whatnot, and it's surprising because you look at Palace, especially playing Edouard, AU and Benteke, you thought there'd be an aerial threat, and they wasn't at all. They had one good cross to the back post where Tommy done really well, actually. But yeah, in hindsight, I think the type of what you need with Tommy is, here's your man, go deal with him. And we can't criticise him on that yet because he's never done wrong. And Son, you've got to say, is one of the best in the league, as hard as it is to say. And he got no change out of Tomiyasu at all. So I think in hindsight, Zaha not playing and Edouard tucking in, giving Tommy nothing to do was massive detriment to us.
But just in terms of that first goal, I had it again in my another Arsenal group chat, had an argument because one of the guys was like, "Oh, Gabriel couldn't do anything about it," and I said, "No, like, honestly, today was just, I called ourselves drop off FC, just kept dropping off, and for me, once Benteke turns, you have to close him down. If I'm the goalkeeper and if I'm in goal, I'm telling my defender, squeeze, engage. You have to engage him. And Tony, you took the words right out of my mouth that even if you foul him, it's a free kick outside the box. You can recover from a free kick and take your chances that you're going to save the free kick, or they may not score it. But for us to drop off, and looking at Gabriel's position that he started outside the 18-yard box, and obviously finally engaged with Benteke inside the box, and it was just confusing why we did that. Because for me, I wouldn't even mind you being rash and getting a yellow there. Like that would be a great yellow card for me there. Like if you can't win the ball back, but the decision making there was just I just didn't understand. Yes, obviously it could have all been avoided if Partey didn't lose the ball in the middle, but again, nothing works out 100%. Like and you have to react to situations in a game, and in that situation, I think we made the wrong decision, and we made the wrong decision defensively and in terms of pressing on many occasions in that, and I do think it is an issue. Well, it was an issue highlighted early by Arteta, and again, which is why I'm confused, because I remember the Chelsea match, Chelsea at home when they won 2-1. I think one of his first games, and there was. I think it was their second goal when they just ran through, and it was a thing where it was Arteta said, we need to actually press, and whether we take the foul, that's what we do instead of dropping off. But yeah, it hasn't changed. I've seen it on many occasions now during this reign.
I think you boys are and Tony. I don't often chip you. Yeah, and I know you. I know exactly where you're coming from Tommy, and Ben White. You could say Tierney, Gabriel, and I know the defenders had a fucking bad day at the office. But I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate and say they are young, inexperienced players, and these are mistakes and results that we're going to see with this Arsenal team.
I absolutely agree with you, and I said that when we signed all these young players. I'm still going to criticize them if they do shit wrong.
Yeah,
I completely agree. I keep saying to people, don't expect consistency from this team. We could come out on Friday and look like the fucking Harlem Globetrotters, but
yeah.
Then the next game after in the league is Leicester away, and we could look absolute shite. That is what we're going to get with this team, and I'm fully aware with that. And when people are getting really angry, I keep saying that. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to criticize them when they make mistakes, because what do you want me to do? Go, they'll be better next week. What's the point supporting? What am I going for if I just go,
No, it's cool. I just want to make that a point, because I thought a lot of people, and not you, but a lot of people on social media and different things where, Arsenal forums and that are like, Arsenal spent however much in the bloody transfer window, and this is what they got. My young bloke, as you all know, I've said it 1,000 times here, he's a Chelsea fan. He said to me on the day, might been this morning, yesterday afternoon, he said to me, what do you do? So hypothetically, a transfer window's open tomorrow. What needs fixing and where? Because I'm thinking to myself, I don't know. I said, we've just bought a heap of young defenders. We've got a couple of young midfielders now. We've got Partey there. We've got a striker. We've got two excellent wingers. We've got a Smith Rowe. We've got an Odegaard. You know what I mean? We've got all the pieces in place. A young team. What do? Do you go out and buy what? I'm absolutely stuck. And I said to him, I feel as though it's just a young team that just needs experience. And I think this young team next season, the season after, when they start, getting it a little bit, and just hopefully maybe Arteta has the experience to take him that way. But I don't know.
But Tess, this is my issue when people were saying, "Oh yeah, we're buying young, hopefully 4, 5, 6 years." Whenever you buy youth, you need the right amount of experience around the club and around them for them to progress well. And And I think I said that during the transfer window, like when Fabregas was coming into the team, when Van Persie, when they had key figures in the team for them to look up to and say, okay, this is the standard. Like Odegaard, Smith Rowe, Saka, who do they have to look up to? Like,
it is hard. Well, they've got an Aubameyang and a Lacazette, but they're not the right. They're not the right guys, I guess.
There you go. And for example, let's look at Chelsea. Obviously, they've bought quite a lot of youth players in and brought through quite a few players into their team from their youth team. But then you've got your Azpilicuetas, you've got your Thiago Silvas, you've got your real leaders there that can actually take them up and build them up. So that's where I would say...
Do you know what? Just funny, quickly, when Lampard first brought in Mount, Abraham, and there was someone else same year, Reece James, that it was the same argument then, because obviously they didn't have Thiago then. Aspi was still there. But it was like, in goal was Kepa. Alonso was at left back, who don't help anyone do anything. So it's funny how the narrative's changed because Chelsea have gone and done things, because that was the exact argument at the time.
Well, that's the argument a lot of Barcelona fans have now. Messi's gone, and the team is lazy. They're apparently, so the press reports, that they aren't training. They're lazy. They're not doing this. They're not doing that. Where, Messi, Ronaldo, you hear stories that they're the first at training. They're the players that put the spark in the team, and with it. So maybe that's what we're missing is somebody. I'm not saying a Messi or Ronaldo, but somebody with that experience say, "Hey guys, get up and fucking have a crack." Like,
and this is the thing. I don't even think it needs to be a world-class player, and because again, when I look at Azpilicueta, I don't see him as a world-class player, but I think leaders having
a leader,
and not even just one, like multiple leaders within the team. And I don't think, obviously people will say Xhaka has leadership qualities and players may look up to him. But let's be truthful. How many leaders do we have within the whole squad?
I think it was a massive thing. And you look back now, and we'll finish this game off in a second, but I look back now and I think, how important was David Luiz off the field?
Again,
I honestly do. What did we get for him? What did we get for him again?
I think
nothing.
Contract. Free. Yeah, for free. That's right. Yeah. So how important was he off the field? Is. Okay, so where did we get up to? 1-1. Where are we?
Well, I mean, the second goal is exactly the same, but Sambi makes the mistake. It's literally everything we've just said. The defender's backing off until they're sitting deep in the clock end somewhere. Like, it's exactly the same. It's Sambi.
I've got something to point out though with this. Cool, it's exactly the same, but I have a bone to pick with our goalkeeper Ramsdale.
I was waiting for it.
You know what? I thought you'd say that. I've not seen it back properly. I actually was going to ask because I saw it back on the screen in the ground.
Edouard scored. The ball hit the underside of the crossbar in the middle of the goal. So it wasn't even like top right or top left. It was straight down the middle. And again, I was arguing with one of our guys in an Arsenal chat. If you look at, as Edouard is moving across, Ramsdale gets set so early. And before he shoots Edouard, he actually shifts it to his right. And again, as a goalkeeper, obviously you're creating an angle. Does Ben White help him in the terms of just standing there and not engaging and being like a player in front of your vision? Yeah, Ben White is a problem in that position. But still, if you look at Ramsdale's position, he gets set so early and he doesn't actually transfer his body weight and his body position across to where he should be if it was a 1v1 and he was just shooting. And even with Ben White in front of him, you can still see the ball, you can still see part of the player. And his position was just so in the wrong place. Should have been over to the left.
It was the worst game I've seen from Ben White. It was absolutely, I don't know. I like Ben White. I love what he's going to do, what he's going to bring. 50 million. You know, it's not for me to say on did we overspend, but I do like him. But I just felt he had a shit fucking game. Absolute
Yeah.
shocker.
But yeah,
I
obviously,
just, no, I hear where you're coming from, but then
Just
you
on
look
go on.
no, he was talking about Ramsdale, and I was just going to say.
Well, no, that's what
like,
I was just gonna
Yeah.
say that the only, and I said I've not seen it properly, but one thing is Edouard is very close to the goal, which is scandalous defending. The other thing, and I don't know if he did, I know he does in general, but I don't know about this case, is Edouard tends to have a very short back lift. I've not examined the goal, so I don't know if he did, which Addy will know all too well. It makes it very difficult for a keeper when players have short back lifts. As I said, he might have had the biggest back lift ever. I've not seen it back, so I'm not making excuses, but I wonder if that was an issue. But I've seen it obviously live from the other end of the ground,
yeah,
and then I watched it back on the screen in the ground, but I watched it back 10 seconds after it happened when you're still pissed off you conceded and how shit we've played. So I'm not looking at analysing this, that and the other.
yeah.
yeah. Obviously, only me. I'm always analysing all the goalkeepers. And all
If
that.
I
reckon-
watched it back, if I watched like Match of the Day or what, I know it wasn't on Match of the Day, but whatever, then I do look at everything like that, which is obviously why I criticise absolutely everything on here. But because obviously Monday night, no Match of the Day, I couldn't be asked to watch highlights of it when I got home. I was pissed
Yeah.
off that I had to watch it once. I weren't going to watch it again.
I don't know about you guys, but that's a shit. Like, it's a shit time to play, isn't it? Like,
Oh,
I just
do
think-
not get me started on our kickoff times. just the league are taking the piss.
I just look. It's 6 a.m. in the morning for me. Suits me. Don't get me wrong, but I hate going at the last game of the week as well because
Yeah.
I'm like, for me, it's Tuesday morning, and I'm like, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I've watched every fucking just about most games in most leagues, you know, and then I think, oh fuck, that's
but
right.
with first
Arsenal
game,
play tomorrow.
with first
Yeah, I
game,
was gonna
with first
say-
game,
I was gonna say-
I think I hate that more. So,
Uh,
but
yeah,
like,
First game this week on the front.
First
There's
game.
people
man,
that
how
are-
fucking how ridiculous.
I hate it. There's people that have arranged boycotts for many things, and I've never ever had any interest in it. But fucking, if people organise something over the fixture times we're getting, I'd be very. I mean, I probably wouldn't do it. I'm full of shit. We all know that. But I'd be very, very tempted.
You know the funny thing is,
Fucking
not even funny thing. I don't see. Obviously, we're out of Europe this year, and so they can easily plug our fixtures in. But I haven't seen any team in the league in previous years where the fixtures have been like this for them, and they're out of Europe. I haven't seen this. Like, I remember
Well,
when
I'd have to have a look at
the
Burnley
one
or
thing I
Everton.
will say, I've not looked massively at every team, but Everton have massively been stitched up as well. It's not only us. Like Everton have got Palace away on a Sunday 4:30. Okay, not the worst. But then on the Tuesday or Wednesday they've got the Chelsea away. So fans they have to go back to Merseyside and then try and get to London on it. Like I've always had a thing. It should be a rule in the Premier League that you never have to travel for more than like 90 minutes for a midweek away game, because it's possible for everyone. For Newcastle, they've got the two Manchester, two Liverpool clubs. So that's 4 midweek games. You don't get 4 midweek games in the season. We've obviously got all of London, and you could squeeze Brighton and Southampton into that, because obviously otherwise they could only play each other. So, and then the Midlands teams, they're only 90 minutes from fucking everywhere. Like Leicester could play pretty much any team in the country apart from Newcastle within 90 minutes. So it's nonsense. But yeah, it's not. The reason we've been stitched up is, as Eddie said, because European teams can only play at certain times. They want us on TV for the viewership, so they put us at all the shit times because they know they're going to get an audience.
Hasn't UEFA changed their scheduling as well? Because it's on at 3:30 in the morning now for us.
Yeah.
I always remember
There's
it
always
on at like
been-
5 o'clock.
Well, one match.
There's always been 1 or 2 early kickoffs. There's always 1 or 2. So today it was Man City, which is probably why you noticed it. And then the other 6
What the fuck?
were, I think it's Sporting Lisbon and like Man City, obviously 2 separate games. And then the other
Yeah.
6 were all 8. It's always like that. There's always 1 or 2. And the same with Europa League. They split it half early,
Yeah.
half late for no apparent reason. But no, the Premier League have taken the piss. All of our fixtures. Man City at home 12:30 on a Boxing Day, on New Year's Day. Yeah, cheers, mate. Norwich. So someone worked it out. Our five away fixtures, we've got 5 in a row that you can't get to by train, or 5 out of 6. So
Wow.
I think it starts with Liverpool, There's no. We're a late kickoff, 5:30. I actually think it's a good time. I like that slot, but there's
What
no
one?
trains back. The last train is at 7, so 5:30 on a Saturday for us.
Oh, yeah.
Saturday night. But the last train back is at 7. The game won't finish till 7:30, and then obviously you'd have to make it to the station. You wouldn't get there till 8 at the absolute best. So you'd have missed the last train by an hour. Then we've got Man United on a Thursday, Everton on a Monday. There's no trains because they're night games. They're 8:15 and 8 o'clock kickoff respectively. So there's no trains. Then we've got Leeds on the 5:30 Saturday night, and I think there's one train that could just about be made. But obviously there's 3,000 fans going. So not all of them are going to get trained, but that train probably has a capacity of 200, 300 people. So there's not going to be enough room for everyone. And then Norwich on Boxing Day, there's no trains either way because it's on Boxing Day. So that's five games between now and December 26th that, look, I don't give a shit. I drive everywhere. But when the Super League was happening, it's like, oh, it's all about the fans. We've got to keep our community together. And then you get that bollock. Like, I can't believe no one's arguing this. Like, because it happens to us consistently. But how has someone from the club or a fan group not gone to the club and said this is unacceptable? And then the club not gone to the FA and gone like, no, we can't. Okay, look, you're going to get stitched up once or twice in the season. But, like, this is bollocks. This is 5 games out of 6. It's nonsense. And the other one, obviously, I mentioned Everton before. They've got the Merseyside derby on a Wednesday night. Like, imagine playing Tottenham on a Wednesday. Like, you can't really drink. You got work the next day. Like, that Tottenham game a few weeks ago was probably the best game we'll have this season in terms of atmosphere and whole thing. It would have been a completely different spectacle on a Wednesday night at 8:15. Kids can't go
So
because it won't finish till 10:15. It's bollocks.
I'm hearing you, and I'm just thinking outside the box for a minute. What time's that in US and what day is that in the US? Because I'm wondering whether it's how much influence are these TVs got now? Like,
no, it's all TV.
It's got to be a
TV.
reason. There's got to be a reason. Yeah.
No, I told you the reason is because we're not in Europe, so they put us on all the slots that the European teams can't play. But as I said, having 5 out of 6 games that fans literally cannot get to is ridiculous. Like, when lockdown was here and there was no fans, they're going, oh, look how much worse the product is. We're so much better with fans. We love the fans. Don't have the Super League. It's all about the fans. Fans. But we're going to charge them £20 pay-per-view. Oh, no, we're not because they don't want that. Then it's like, and then as soon as they've got the opportunity again, as soon as we get started again, within three months, it's fuck the fans. We actually don't really need them anyway. They're more hassle than they were.
Well, yesterday I paid for a VPN because I've never had to worry about it, right? I'm like, I'm not streaming shit. I hate streaming shit, right?
You lot moan about your prices and they don't even compare to ours.
It's not the prices, Tony. I don't care if they're 30, 40. I don't care, right? My problem is how many fucking things do I need? I've got Spotify, Disney, Paramount, Netflix, Amazon. Like, I'm to a point where I'm like, fuck, I can't even keep up with what channel's on what streaming service is on what now. And I understand they all want a bite of the pie and stuff, but for Stan to watch Champions League and Europa League, who actually doesn't have much interest for me this year, but you've got to pay, it's okay, I'll get back to pricing now, but this is the big thing as well, is $10 to get Stan and then $10 add-on for another for the Europa. And I'm like, well, there's $20 for that. You're looking at about $80 to $100 a month to have them all.
You're moaning to the wrong crowd.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you're moaning to the wrong crowd because we pay a hell of a lot more for a hell of a lot less.
It's like £150, £200 for like, and we don't even get like 80% of the games that you would normally get.
Saturday 3 o'clock.
You fucking.
But I don't. Just to say quickly, I don't think the game timings that we've got coming up, with obviously the ones that Tony was discussing, have much influence with other TV markets, just because the actual viewing numbers abroad are still nothing like what they are in the UK. And obviously in Europe and stuff like that, obviously in America, they don't watch as much Premier League as they get viewers here. However, one thing that I just want to add, because obviously Tony touched on it as I jump back on, was that he was saying that obviously for someone like him who drives, like, it's not necessarily a problem. I mean, look, I'm the same as Tony. I obviously I go home and away, as you all know. I drive as well. But like, looking at the games, like the United game on the Thursday, for example, I've got next to no choice, and I'm sure Tony will probably be in the same camp as me here, where we're going to all probably have to stay in Manchester or somewhere, because if we were to drive straight back, on the basis an 8:15 kickoff, the game won't be finished around 10:15. Getting out of Old Trafford takes at least an hour and a half. We won't be home till 5 a.m. easily. And the
Mate,
same more or less goes for Everton.
as Tony
But that's
just said,
driving
I'm
after the
preaching to
game.
the wrong crowd. I'm in a fucking Australia, mate. To get to me shop, it's fucking an hour. No, but I do hear you,
It
mate. I do
basically
hear you.
translates to like 22 hours traveling and game time to watch the game, where it's just. I mean, obviously, I understand midweek United where you're going to get games like that, but we've got Liverpool, United, and Everton within 10 days, and it's disgraceful.
22
from
hours.
everything
I've
Tony
never
said.
left the
I want to
state.
vouch that as well.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, don't come to Australia.
To be fair, Tez, we're lucky. Look, it's why England's so unique with our away fan culture, is that we have the infrastructure and that everything's so close enough that we can do this. I mean, if we were MLS fans, hypothetically, let's say we support LAFC, it would cost fucking fortunes to try and do the same thing.
Yeah.
For
I
us,
don't
we're
know how
lucky.
they
Do you
do
know what
that.
I mean?
Yeah. Well,
No, but
over
even in
Yeah.
Spain, away fans aren't a thing. I remember when like Swin quite early days started coming on this podcast, and I was saying that the season ticket waiting list was whatever it was, like stupid amounts. And he's like, "Oh, why don't they just split it so you get like half the games and someone else gets half the games? You can both still say you've got a season ticket. It can be worked out fairly." And
Fuck that.
I was saying, no, but that happens with NFL apparently. So if this is wrong, blame Schwinn, because he told me that happens with American sports. And I was like, yeah, but you don't have the away fan culture. And he was like, well, how does that impact? And I said, you can't tell a guy who's traveled to Bate Borislav, I don't know what country that is, that they can't go to Tottenham on a Saturday despite just going 4,000 miles to fucking outer Mongolia. Like,
Fucking, you're
Yeah.
coming up with the weirdest shit.
no, it's intentional. There's a reason. So yeah, but you can't tell that guy that's gone to somewhere where the only form of transport is a camel, that he then can't go to the game that he lives next door to. Like,
Fucking
it's away fans in England are different to pretty much every other country, and as it's the size of the country and the closeness to do it, but a lot of other countries, people don't understand it.
Yeah, well, you guys can jump on a plane and be in Paris in fucking 30 minutes or an hour or something, isn't it?
Yeah, give or take.
I haven't even got to fucking Coffs Harbour by then. Okay, now where are we? Lacazette came on, boys, and did you see? And Tony, I'll stick with you for a second because he was pumped. Like, I don't know who he was yelling at or and abusing, but I don't know if it was anger or excitement or trying to rally I don't know what it was, but he was like, he was an angry bastard. Like, and then he scored the goal,
Yeah.
and he was even like, "Yeah, fuck yous."
Yeah, I know what you mean. It was basically the first touch, and we won a corner, and he started trying to G up the crowd, which I do. It's weird because I do like that. I do like when players try and lift the crowd up, because it does lift the crowd up, and then more noise usually helps.
Yep.
I mean, I think Lacazette's the most overpaid cheerleader in the world because he does it all the time. But I'm not knocking him for it. It's one of them things that, like, people, look at the passion. I'm like, well, just get cheerleaders. Like, if that's the bit you're excited about, get cheerleaders with an equally big ass, and we'll all be happy.
So he was
Like-
he was trying to rev the crowd up, was it?
Yeah, he done it. As I said,
okay.
literally, I think it was after his first touch, we won a corner and he ran over. And look, as I said, I've got no problem with that. I actually like when players do it, but
Yeah.
it annoys me when people, and it's the same. I never liked Podolski for that reason, because he was the most overpaid cheerleader I've ever seen as well.
actually like Pulowski.
But yeah, we left it to the last minute and we leveled with them, Addy. It was 2-2. And happy
Just quickly
days.
before we get on the goal,
Yeah.
Lacazette should have scored earlier on, and he's getting away with it because he scored the equaliser. Like, there was a chance where Aubameyang, I don't know if it was lucky, to be fair, but Aubameyang played a perfect ball to him. Not sure if he miskicked it. And Lacazette, like, paused, stopped, and then he didn't, because he'd stopped, he didn't have any power on his shot. And it was annoying because it's like, if it's the other way around, if Lacazette plays out to Aubameyang, you just think, goal.
Goal. Yeah.
But with the way it happened, you just thought,
Yeah,
we might get the corner in. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, no,
He made stuff
completely
happen.
agree with that.
To be fair.
Yeah.
But, yeah, go on.
Yeah.
I was going to say also the chip to Turney hit the crossbar.
Yeah, there was and that was I thought that was like, I know Tierney's not, he's a left back, but fuck me, he put some whack and power on that. But he had to get through a lot of bodies. I was thinking it's going to ricochet off somebody. He was just very unlucky. And I seen a lot of people saying, oh, he should have scored. And I'm like, for fuck's sake, you ever been in that position to try and shoot through how many players were there? And I thought he did everything correct and everything right for, that was good.
No,
Unlucky.
definitely. But are we on the Lacazette goal?
Yeah, Lacazette's last goal bouncing around.
To be fair, it was just like put it in the mixer, get in the mixer. Obviously, they tried to clear it, a few headers out, dropped to Ben White. His shot got cleared.
Can I just cut in very quickly?
Yes.
Just cut in very quickly. I think it's very unfair saying it just dropped to Ben White. Look, his movement was like a striker, and he had one just before as well, where he done well to keep it down. Like from a centre back at that point, I just don't want to see the ball going into the upper tier, like just to keep it down. But it didn't. It's not like the defender, the player's just standing there and the ball dropped to him. His movement was very, very good.
When I meant it just went to him because obviously everything was just looping around. So then, yes, the movement to get there would have been good. Obviously, I didn't analyze that movement, but then obviously because of how it was just frantic in the box. Obviously, his movement took in there, but it was good. The shot was good as well, as you did say. It didn't. Imagine if it was Gabriel, probably would have gone over the bar to keep it on target, and obviously fell to Lacazette, and then bang. My only issue was that, and I think this was similar to Arsenal at Bournemouth. Like,
I knew exactly what you was going to say before you started talking.
Yeah. Why didn't we just grab the ball and see if we can get another goal? Like, the celebrating the slide, I didn't think we needed it. It seemed like it was a game winner, and it wasn't a game winner to me. Like, cool, we salvaged the point.
I don't know the answer to this, so go on.
I was just going to say, I don't normally agree with Addy, but for once, I thought it was so fucking extra. So I actually agree with you to an extent on this front, but I will let Tony continue.
Well, no, all I was going to say is I thought exactly the same, but I listened to TalkSport on the way back, and there was a few callers and the presenters who love to bash Arsenal any opportunity.
Yeah.
But they were basically saying it was it ended up being the last kick. I mean, they took centre booted it and the whistle went. So, I mean, you can kind of maybe forgive him if, like, when we had the set piece, if they said how long and the ref's gone 10 seconds, then you kind of think, well, fuck it, you might as well celebrate if you score. Mm-hmm. I don't know. There might have been a minute left. I don't know. But again, I've not seen it back and I've not seen it with a timer. But they were basically saying on TalkSport that the clock was ticking, like basically time was up as the ball went in. So I'm going to give him a little bit of a pass, seeing as he's just scored a last-minute equaliser as well. But at the time, I did celebrate it like we won the World Cup, but I didn't feel good about it. It's like McDonald's when you're on a diet.
And you know, I think someone was saying that Aubameyang actually went to get the ball to run it back to the centre circle, but because everyone went to celebrate, then he dropped it and then went across to celebrate. But then, like, for example, that winner felt like, remember, Arsenal versus Leicester, Giroud header. Like last the 3-2.
He done that a lot though, so I can't remember exact one, but it's
4-3. It's 4-3 first game of the season.
First game. Yes. Sorry, yes. 4-3 first game of the season. That was the first Friday night football match as well.
Yep.
But in that, literally, that one, I remember when the stadium erupted in that one. Like it felt like the celebrations there. It mirrored. It was like mirrored. But
it was
the result wasn't mirrored. That was the only
it was. And look, will say it was a result that we got lucky with. Like, even though we didn't deserve to win that game at all. I'm happy with I shouldn't say I'm happy with the draw, but hey, I'm happy at least we took a point away from that game. I felt as though they were the better team and they were unlucky not to take the 3 points. That's been one of them, and we're going to see plenty of them all season long, boys. I'm going to get some 3-2-1s. Tony, 3-2-1.
I ain't got a clue. Aubameyang 3 because he scored, Lacazette 2 because he scored, and
It's gonna be hard.
Why?
it's a hard one, right? Because I thought Pepe was absolute dog shit. I felt sorry for him because they kept just giving him the ball and basically saying, "Go on, then. I don't care if you've got 10 defenders around you." And he's had a major role in both goals. But when you play as bad as he did, especially in the second half, I can't really. I'm half tempted to give it to Gabby because he had a bit of urgency. Like,
Let's have a look
he played,
what they did
10
here.
minutes and absolutely didn't deserve to get any plaudits, but he tried a bit. I mean, there was, oh my God, I can't believe we didn't talk about it. That time where Gabby twisted and turned about 15 times on the left wing, and we had 7 players at the back post, and none of them thought, oh, actually, I better go and help him. Fuck knows how he won a throw on from it. But it was just, that was right in front of me. Like, where I see it, people, if you can imagine, he's in line with me. And
Yep.
I'm like going, someone help him. And all he's done is buying time. He's not even trying to beat the men because there's 3 of them. He's just trying to buy time to get someone to come over and help him. And they've all just stood. If he would have got the ball in, we would have scored. Because it was about 7-on-2 at the back post. But it was physically impossible for him to get the ball to the back post because he had no run up and 3 men circling him. It was ridiculous. But yeah, in terms of my one, yeah, fuck it. I'm just going to give it to him. He don't deserve it, but they all don't deserve it.
Addy?
I'm gonna go the same.
Same, yeah. It's fucking hard. Jack, you still with us?
Yeah, I am. I'm gonna go the same 3 and the 2, but for the 1, I controversially think Ben White wasn't half bad.
Oh, fuck off! Really?
Look, Jack, I said it to Tessa. It's not Ben White. It's Benjamin White. He clarified this in an interview last week. Benjamin.
Did you see? Did you see the reporter?
That was
Did you see the reporter? Oh, they call me Benjamin. Why? He was like, "It's my name."
That's my
Like,
name.
the why was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like, I think he was embarrassed answering it. Like, oh, why do they call you that? Yeah, it's my name, mate. Like,
My name. I don't like him now. That's fucking thrown
Welcome
it
to
for me.
British journalism.
That is thrown at Benjamin. Fucking hell. I thought you were taking the piss, Addy. I didn't
No,
see it, so I didn't see it.
The truth.
I'm going to have a look now.
You
This is
actually
taking
did
a
an
piss.
interview.
Oh, fucking hell. I'm surprised Tony didn't give Smith Rowe 1 because his name's Smith Rowe.
I was virgin on it. Like, none of them deserve it. You can give it to anyone. Also, I was thinking about this earlier. The amount of shit I get the one time Odegaard is good, and I mean the one time. Why is no one talking to me about him today? Come on, let me hear you. Where's the comment?
Hold on.
Because he was fucking short.
Hold on,
We
let me
need a
back up.
number 8 so badly. We really need a number 8.
Look, but then when I let's finish all of this and I'm gonna, I'm gonna.
Okay, let me do a 3-2-1
Yeah,
very quickly
yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm like you boys. Aubameyang,
Sorry, go on.
Aubameyang, Lacazette, and I'll say, fuck. I don't know. Yeah, I'll have
It's
to
not
go
like
with
you
you,
had
Tony.
ages to prepare.
Nah, I know. I didn't even think of it. Yeah, I'll have to go with Tony. Sorry. I was thinking of someone else. Then I'm like, oh, Tommy shit, White shit, Tierney shit,
not
Pepe
Tommy.
shit, Smith Rowe shit, Odegaard shit, Saka went off. Yeah, there's nothing. Who was on the bench?
Lacazette,
Lacazette, Martinelli, Lukonga.
Well, that's what I was saying. We gave it to 2 of the subs, and the other one gave away a goal, so you can't possibly give it to him. So,
That's me, same as you, Tony. Go on, Addy, and I'll get into some questions in a second. You were going to have a talk about somebody.
Again now,
Can I just jump in and say I got my phone's about to die, so I've got to go into the house.
You're
Yeah.
all right, buddy. I'll
I
catch
will
up
try
with you
and
next
I will
week.
try and pop back in. If not, I'll be back next week. But love to all.
Okay.
And
Cheers,
yeah,
mate.
cool. And Tony, check
Stay
the WhatsApp
safe.
as well when you can. Later, lads. See ya.
Yeah. I was going to
Bye.
talk to you
Yeah.
after, but I'll message you when you're back.
That was a good one. Yeah, just my normal. Obviously, we're in this position now. No midfielders. Obviously, we said we needed a midfielder. We didn't purchase a midfielder. We've got midfielders out on loan. Your Torreiras, your Guendouzi's. But we are literally shooting us. Or we've shot ourselves in the foot.
I think
this
I know
year.
where you're going, eh?
Yeah, obviously, like
We all know where he's going.
we all know where this is going now. And my question is, how long are we going to stay like this? How long are we going to keep up with this? Like, I won't say like tactically Arteta did this thing wrong, and no, because I think this was more on the players.
This was the players. This was.
Yeah, this
absolutely.
was this definitely the players. I think again, my only issue would be, how does he change it? Because similar to Brighton, tactically, when teams understand us tactically and have a good foothold in the game, what does he do? And for me, he struggles tactically when he comes up against a decent tactical manager. And I think I said first 20 minutes we dominated, but Crystal Palace got into the game, and it's what do you change? But then again, what could we change?
I'm gonna answer your question very quickly with a question, and I'm gonna say, how long do you? And I hear what you're saying, right? But you've got a very young team. You've got a young, inexperienced manager. Do you think an experienced manager coming in now would be right? Because here's the project. Here's the plan. Let's jump on this baby and let's see where it goes. Who's to say an experienced manager would get the best out of these players tactically? I agree with where you're coming from with Arteta, but I don't know. I was thinking about this the other day. This is halfway through a bit of a plan, like a little bit like when, it's bad comparison, Louis van Gaal at Man United. You could see what he was doing when he bought Martial and a couple of younger players there. Di Maria, I think he was Louis van Gaal.
That was United's fuck up. They didn't stick to the plan because they brought Martial
That was
and a couple of young
yeah.
players, and then brought Di Maria and Falcao. So
yeah,
there was no
the
no
plan
consistency.
fucking went out the window. That's and that wasn't. I would say he's an experienced manager, Louis. Love him or hate him, he's got experience, yeah. So we're kind of in that rebuilding out of the Wenger days, but I just don't know where you go, Addy. Like, that's my point.
Yeah, and cool. You can say, I feel you can change. You can still have your overall arching plan of building for the future and everything, but the figurehead, I don't feel that this manager will get the best out of these players, and I feel that we can go on and get to the end of the season, because again, I don't feel the plan with the quality we do have in the team that the plan is to be 12th, 13th at this stage. Obviously, similar to what Jack was saying last year, or earlier on in the season, we just need 2 or 3 games here and then we're in the top 6 or just 3 points behind the top 4. Yes, that's the case, but when you're dropping points against your Brightons, your Crystal Palaces, and no shame against them, against those teams, your Brentfords, like they are actually producing and actually playing. Well, some of them are playing well, but the games where we should be getting wins and we're not, and we're struggling, like how much longer are we in this cycle, and how much more time do we give Arteta, and how much time? Because I feel we're going to go backwards, and going backwards now with Newcastle being where they are now is not a good thing for us. And we need to, for me, I already said I would have done it a long time ago. We need to arrest this form and this plan. And as I said, overarching plan can still happen, but the person who's taking us forward needs to change.
Do you know, not to detract too much from your point, but do you know what's interesting? The amount of people I've seen on Twitter go, this result wouldn't have happened under Wenger, Emery, whoever. We never fucking beat Palace at home. We ain't beat them at home for fucking ages. Emery was obviously the famous 2-2 when Socrates' goal got disallowed. We drew last year 0-0. It was a shit game. Wenger, we lost under Emery as well. We lost 3-2 the Mustafi game when it was like towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
So we're going back to at least Wenger's years when we beat them at home. So just, I'm not saying your point is wrong, but just this any manager beats Palace, and I'm like, well, none of ours do. But also, I mean, I started this point by saying how shit Odegaard was, and you've gone completely off the point. This is why he gets away with it, because no one wants to call him out. He's fucking shit.
No, you know what? I agree with you. Odegaard was horrific, but then this is where I started off with. We're playing Odegaard as an 8, and the guy's not an 8, and we've had to look. And this is why I was angry, because you basically have destroyed the team because of your own ego. He's gotten rid of Guendouzi. He's gotten rid of Torreira because they don't play the type of football he wants. Guendouzi has an attitude problem, but he's kept El Neni, but doesn't play El Neni. But even if El Neni plays, it's not really the type of footballer he wants in the team in the starting 11. But then you've got players that could actually be of help to this team, and we don't have them around the team. And we're killing ourselves and we're hurting ourselves because Arteta wants to be king. And it's the thing, similar to Conte and Diego Costa. He had a huge falling out because Costa wanted to go to was it Saudi or wherever it was.
I know it.
But then he didn't say, you know what, I'm not going to play you, because it was in January he wanted to leave. He said no. Conte played them all throughout the season. They won the league, and then he texted him there, you're off. He used the guy until we knew, okay, yeah, bam, I can get someone else in. But then with Arteta, it doesn't do that. But then again, that's just the inexperience of Arteta.
I see where you're coming from. I understand. And look, I like that. That's where you're at. Like, you're sticking with your guns. I, however, have jumped from the fence. I've jumped over the fence. I've done everything, and I just keep chopping and changing my mind. I'm to a point where I don't know who's out there who could take, as I said to you before, and I don't want to just continue to repeat myself, but I just don't know who that guy is. So I'm now to a point where I'm sticking to my side of the fence and saying, hey, I'm just going to give him to the end of this season and see what happens. Because if I lose sleep over it and I get all fucking shitty and whatnot and go, well, let's change managers now, let's do this and let's do that, which I'm not saying is wrong, I just don't know who that person would be. That's kind of where I'm at.
Is it because they're not available, or is it because...
No. It's because we're halfway through a plan. So I think we've got to now let him have this plan out, right? End of the season, reevaluate where he comes, where he's at. And look, I think it took Manchester United a few years to sort their shit out. You know, they went through Van Gaal.
They still haven't.
Now look where they're at. An old ex-player who, fucking hell, he's not a manager's asshole. Like this guy, that Ollie, he's not a manager's fucking big toe. But so I need to see where Arteta's going with this. I don't think chopping and changing is the right answer. That's where I'm coming from. I know. Look, and
I mean,
I know where you are. I know where you are. Go.
the
Tony.
moral of the story is Odegaard is shit.
Oh yeah. Back to Odegaard. Okay. I got to get through some questions because Muhammad has been typing away here. So he and I was going to bring it up, but then I seen his question. He where is it? Feels for Party. He was outnumbered the whole game. Yeah, not a dig at Jack. I agree. I think Party was. He was quiet.
I've started questioning Party.
Have you?
Yeah.
He was quiet. He was quiet.
He was both out. He was outnumbered. He's right. He was also poor.
It was also poor. And Party again now. I don't know whether it's us as fans
this off
or
the fucking.
It's for me. He
or
needs like I've said this before. Atletico, he played with 3 other centre mids. There's basically 4 of them there. Like he's looked half okay most of the time. He's played with Xhaka. He just needs. He's not like a one-man band that's going to do it all on his own.
Yeah.
Like even
He's not
Kante
that
doesn't do it on his own. He's got loads of legs around him, or loads of different type of players. So okay, Jorginho's not got the legs, but you know he's never going to fucking give the ball away ever. Like I just think with Partey, I do think it's us in that we're trying to. We think we've put him on such a pedestal that we basically think he's Vieira, and even Vieira didn't do it on his own.
Not even Vieira, because I think people think. Like Arsenal fans think he's Yaya Toure in the sense that he can boss the midfield, drive out, shoot, score, and like for me, when I knew he was getting Partey, I'm thinking, yeah, good, solid defensive midfielder. And as you just said there, he had other midfielders around him to do all the attacking and the creating and I think we're giving him too much. Like I think it's us putting so much expectations on him to produce, and I think his whole game is just what is he? Is he a deep line playmaker now? Is he our most attacking creative player now? Or is he this? Is he that?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know where he is, and so yeah, I don't know. Our midfield's a fucking shonk at the moment. So, and what you asked me a question. Like I don't know how the fuck you fix that. Like it's just the fucking.
We can't fix it at the moment. We
got what we got. I'm to a point where. Do you give El Neni a crack? Like that's where it's come to. You know what I mean?
I actually thought that yesterday.
Yeah.
Did you?
Literally, I thought that, and you can say basically the same for Ainsley. At least it gives it extra legs. And the same case for either one of them, really. Different ways, but it gets legs around, and it means Partey doesn't have to do 8 people's jobs.
8 people's jobs, yeah.
Mike Dean is the worst ref I've seen. He is so inconsistent. How does he and the other refs get away with match-changing decisions? Should the refs have a post-match interview? They won't do that. Definitely won't.
This is argument has been going since Sky have been going. Like Sky were the first to bring in like interviewing absolutely fucking everyone, and this argument has been going for probably 27 years or whatever it is, and it ain't fucking going anywhere anytime soon. They should do, it's never going to happen.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It should do. It'd be great but it won't. And there's lots of other sports too where you do see a lot of inconsistencies on referees. That's why I don't want to be always blaming the ref. We were fucking shit. At the end of the day, we were fucking shit. But okay, we got to. That would have changed the game, right? Red card.
Of course, it's 1-0, 10 men with 60 minutes to play. It completely changed the
game. Yeah. Muhammad, he says Odegaard, poor. Party was great. Sambi equally unimpressive. Where did Arteta go wrong in setting up the midfield?
His ego in the transfer.
Are you thinking Arteta's at fault though for setting the midfield? I know he's the bloke who sets it, but like, where are we at? El Neni, Maitland-Niles.
That 3 is never ever going to work. And in one sense, fucking winning at Burnley and not losing at Brighton would obviously look. Of course, I wanted us to win both them games, and I never want us to lose. But I think they've kind of set us back because we were shit in both of them games.
Yeah.
But because we didn't lose, it's like, oh, it's learning and we're picking up points. Well, it's the same as yesterday. Like, oh, they're learning to play together and they're picking up points while they're doing it. But it is never, ever going to work. They just don't have any of the aspects to do it. Like, Odegaard is a waste of space. He's better off the ball than he is on it. At least at 10, he can go and press. That is his best asset.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
He is
That's
good
what
at
I said,
it.
yeah.
He's
But
moving
as an
off
8,
the
you
ball,
can't
he's
do that.
great.
And then you're relying on, neither of them fucking ever play through balls, like try and slide people in. You're relying on Smith Rowe to use his pace to try and beat 2 or 3 players. But, like, who's the best 8 we've had in recent years? Ramsey. We didn't rely on him to go and beat 2 and 3 players. Like, that's like the only way we can attack now is Smith Rowe has to do something fucking magical before we can start an attack. It's bollocks.
Hakon says it's honestly terrible that we cannot control a game at home. We have had a long break and should be ready, at least many of our players, and this is what Arteta does with his team. It's simply not good enough, especially at home. We can't control anything for more than 10 minutes. Hard to disagree with any of that, buddy. Hard to disagree with any of that. And all I can say is a little bit maybe of light at the end of the tunnel is we just have to, what's that word everyone says? Trust the process. Trust the process, brother. I fucking hate that term, to be honest. MAA Gunner, do you feel like we're in a never-ending circle with Arteta? 4 games good, 4 games bad, still have the same creative issues, still struggling to beat these teams who finished 6th to 14th, like Villa, Everton, etc. Almost 2 years, and it's the same story. Whilst I agree with that, I think we've got to put our expectations down. I said this at the start of the season. Our expectations are here. They should be here. Like, they're just...
See, honestly, I hear when people say that, but unfortunately, this is Arsenal Football Club, and I think it's the Arsenal, and it's like I think because we've dropped our expectations, we are allowing this mediocrity to be here, and which is why I get onto to Arteta, which is why I got into Emery, because that was just mediocre stuff, and like obviously we all know the board are not really in it. The board do not love this club, do not truly love Arsenal, but we can't set our expectations low now. Like with me, even when Arsene Wenger had useless teams, I still wanted us to go out and win stuff. Like that was the challenge. It wasn't for me. It wasn't just top 4. I always had a hope. Oh yes, we can challenge for the league. As much as blind as it was, as crazy as it was, I always had that. We have to go.
Yeah. We were there.
Then obviously it would pan out that we wouldn't. Cool, no problem. But at least that was the expectation every single year for me. So for me, just because it's Arteta, because it's a new project, I can't change that. It has, and which is what. And that's me. That's me.
No, I get where you're coming from. A lot of people are like that, but I'm like that too. But I've seen with other teams, like teams go through a roller coaster. You know, we've been on top. We've been lucky for actually, is it lucky? But we've been really well for 20 years. Like, you know, you could say the last couple of years under Wenger was a bit of a shock, but there was FA Cups, there was trophies. Whilst we weren't competing with the top 1 and 2 clubs, also keep in mind Manchester City and you could say Liverpool have been managed really fucking well. Not so much City because they've just got money to burn, right? But Liverpool, what Klopp has done there has been amazing, and it's on the back of Mo Salah, who he's taken his game to a new fucking level. Like every season he's getting better. Absolutely. So, and when I'm just about to come to another question here, Joe, at what point do we cut our losses with Pepe? He's been there 2 years, agree. On his current deal, should we sign him to a new deal or let him go at a loss. He does not have the flashes of being an elite player, but not consistently enough for me. Thoughts? Whilst I definitely agree with that, at the time we signed Pepe, we're all thinking this kid is going to be fucking a world-class Mo Salah. Partey, when we signed him, we're like, yes, fuck yeah, we've got a great player. Aubameyang, Lacazette. I'm looking at players who that we've gone over the years. These are fucking great players who are going to do something. This window, we've gone Ben White. We've strengthened the defence up. We've gone a couple who not many of us have heard of. You know, they're not the flashy kinds of players. So is it just that bad luck? It's been bad, you know, and Liverpool have been very lucky. I'm not, like I said, I can't put City because they've paid fortunes for fucking players and they continue to. So, like, and Newcastle United, like, they're now owned by fucking the richest people in the world. I'd be very surprised they don't try and put an Mbappe deal or a Haaland deal next year or year after because they got that money. We haven't got that money. Yeah, I know. You say that, but money does talk, and you're very interesting.
I can see shave my head live on stream. They sign either of them this summer.
I can see Harry Kane going there.
Yeah, I think they're going to spend money. Liverpool, MWA Gunner says, Liverpool sacked Rodgers as soon as Klopp became available. Don't think Arsenal have the guts to do that. Yeah.
No, I mean, to be honest, I was going to say about it earlier, but I didn't really want to carry on the conversation. But I wouldn't change Arteta for, like, even if he was to go, I wouldn't be looking at any of the names. To be honest, and this is not going to go down well, one of the only managers I'd probably go for to replace him would be Potter.
And you know, the honest thing is,
who?
Graham Potter. I am 100% with you. I'm 100% with you because I know what the guy wants to do. I take Potter, and I think a lot of people will take Potter. And that's the thing. Like, I don't even think we need me. I would want the big ones. I would want the Contes or the Ten Hag's, but I would honestly take a Potter right now, and I think he would come as well, honestly. And I think he would do more for this team than Arteta would. Honestly. Like, forget your Eddie Howe's, forget your Steve Bruce when he becomes available. Like
fucking hell. Yeah, look, I don't know. Look, I think Liverpool were very lucky when they is it luck? But they were very smart to sign Klopp. They could see that he was a really good man manager, financial manager. The guy has, like, I think I was looking back at his first season and the season after, like, he basically sold the shit, and with that shit, he fucking bought good players. And
I mean that's not him, but
but he would have a say in it. Like he'd have it.
The thing, they had a football director.
Fucking clever. Like who we got? We got Edu and Arteta running the show. Like, not saying that they're not smart blokes and they're not good at what they do, but we're not really seeing that. Like and I don't know if we. Well, I hope we see it. I hope we see that, and I hope we're sitting here in 2 years' time saying, "Hey, we've come through the shit. Now we're these boys are doing what they're meant to do." So I just think it's trust the process, Addy.
Again, now, I don't mind trusting this project, but the leader of this project needs to.
I think they need it. I think they would thrive better with somebody who's a bit maybe smarter on the shit to negotiate, and I don't know, like somebody. It's got to be.
No,
are they doing too much? Like, are they doing too much?
I think Arteta's doing too much, and this is the thing. I think we need a manager again who trusts in youth, who
Well, I mean, we shouldn't have
That's
gone
a
back to the manager model. That was ridiculous.
Yeah,
and that
well,
was
there you go. Yeah,
yeah,
that was yeah.
and
Yeah,
and let's
we've
be,
gone backwards step there.
I think we need a tactical manager. So, like, obviously, Tuchel fell into Chelsea's arms, like, because it was literally luck. That was lucky as well for them getting Tuchel, Chelsea. But again, someone in his mold, like, again, is he a what? Or prior to him getting to Chelsea, would you say he's an
I
elite
think
manager?
yeah,
I
he's
don't
more
think
of a
so.
tactical manager,
But
isn't
tactical, yeah.
he? Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But then
Very
people say,
tactical manager.
Unai Emery was tactical, but yeah, no, that guy was.
I don't think he cares. I get the kind of thing that he doesn't care what really happens off the field in financials. You guys just get me who I fucking need, and we'll run from that. That's what the vibe I get. MAA Gunner says he'd take Potter. MAA Gunner also says Potter can easily pick up from where Arteta left off, and he makes the most out of average attacks.
Like how he says Arteta left off like he's been sacked.
Well, I reckon that's about it, boys, for us,
MAA.
because I've got to run. You boys it's getting late there for you lads as well. Thank you everybody for joining us live on the show. Do I have to say anything else? I can't remember now.
Do you not have sponsors?
No.
He fucked that up a long time ago.
I
They were
give
meant to
him
come through the system.
I fucked the old sponsors up massively because I was meant to fucking do the shout outs, and I got fucking hopeless at it, mate. I'm hopeless at promoting my own shit, let alone some other poor cunt shit. But yeah, you can find us on everywhere. Fuck, I don't know, YouTube, Twitch, and all them places. Thank you everybody for listening. Thank you for following us and whatnot. And yeah, see you all next week. Thanks, boys. See you later.
Yeah, adios.
Oh, you want to say something?
Not live.
Okay. You want to say it now?
We're still live.